Good morning and welcome to the Shuckle Solo Run on the RetroBrown channel in Gen 2 Johto Pokemon Gold. I don't even know what to make of this one. I love Shuckle as a Pokemon, but it's better in a team setting from what I surmise. I don't know how this is going to go, but yeah. Shuckle is a bug rock type Pokemon, the first bug rock type Pokemon in the generation. It's got a base stat total of 505, which is a lot higher than I thought it would be, but then you see how it's distributed. Shuckle is the absolute tank. Like, defensively, special defensively, it is ridiculously tanky. So the way they've compensated with that is giving it low HP, low attack, low special attack, and probably one of the worst base stats of speed I've ever seen in Pokemon. So yeah, because of that base stat speed as well, it also means that we can't outrun and escape from Pokemon very, very easily. As you'll see here, sometimes we can get away straight away, sometimes it'll take us 3 or 4 tries to actually run away. So yeah. What makes this even worse? It starts off with only 2 moves, Constrict and Withdraw. Withdraw, I don't understand why they've given it this move, because it's already got the best defenses in the game. And they want to increase that? bit weird, but we probably will not be using Withdraw whatsoever. We have to use Constrict though, because we've got nothing else to attack with. It's got 10 base power, 100% accuracy, and 35 PP. With that base 10 attack, we're probably only going to be doing 1 damage to any Pokemon for quite a while. So let's see how we do against the first rival Pokemon. I've given them a Totodile for this because it is weak to water. And yeah, that's how much damage Constrict is doing. But also, they're only doing 1 damage with Scratch. Even if they've used Leer on us or whatever defense lowering move they've got, this is literally going to be a battle of who can knock each other out first with 1 hit, like 1 HP hitting moves. Always completely forget that I have the Berry equipped right at the start. I always just forget about it because it's just what your Pokemon comes with when you start the game. But all these fights with Constrict are just going to take ages. Hence why this video is probably a little bit longer than a lot of my other videos. We do eventually beat it, but without that berry we would have lost that. So what are we going to call the rival for this video? Well, one of my more recent subscribers who I had some great conversations with on comments, Overgoat. Thank you for subscribing, welcome to the channel. This one's for you. And yeah, if you've got a chance to check out Overgoat's channel, if you like your anime and discussions around anime, feel free to check out his channel. It's honestly some interesting opinions there. Right, let's get on with the run anyway. So we're going to go against Youngster Joey, and as you can see here, even against a level 4 Rattata, we still can't do more than 1 damage with Constrict. We may be able to tank everything that comes our way, but that attack is just not helping us out, and every fight is just going to be long drawn out. And you know what? It's probably going to be worth our time to get rid of all of our PP and actually use Struggle, because it's not going to do much damage to us, but it'll definitely do a lot more damage than a 10 power Constrict will do. Doesn't even get any better when we get to level 9 as well. When we get Wrap, I mean, yes, Wrap will actually do passive damage every turn, and it's got 5 more power, but it's still a 15 power move with 15% less accuracy. But it's definitely going to help us out in the longer fights when we can Wrap and then we Constrict to save PP. But we can also deal out more damage per turn with the Wrap damage accumulating all the time. We are going to go through to Sprout Tower and make sure we get as much experience as possible, because even though the first gym coming up is going to be the Flying Gym, and we're a Rock type, it's also going to hit us neutrally because we are a Bug type. So we definitely need the levels, we definitely need to stall out, and if possible we need to get level 14 and actually use Encore, because yeah, we need everything we can get to actually beat any fight here. We're going to really struggle in this early game to even get past a lot of trainers, and even just get past even at a good pace here, because the best move that we're going to learn this entire run is only available when you get to Goldenrod. So we really need to try and get there as quick as we can, but that's not going to be easy at all. Like, it's going to take ages to get through any fight. It's going to really be a challenge to even do damage to a lot of things. We want to beat Faulkner as quick as possible as well, because we will get the TM for Mud Slap, which means we've actually got a ground type move that can deal damage against the rivals Ghastly in Azalea Town, and of course all the rock-type Pokemon that we will come up against in the next tunnel. Against the Sage in the top of Sprout Tower, it's literally a battle of who can deal out more damage quicker. They're only going to do 1 point of damage to us every single turn because of our ridiculous defenses. But what we want is to make sure Wrap hits, and then we can use Constrict, deal out more damage over time, and there we go. We can beat the Hoothoot and his entire team at level 15. But yeah, it's a tedious fight. Let's see how we do against Faulkner. So the worst part about this, they are going to use Mud Slap a lot. So what we really want to do is make sure they can use a move where we can use Encore on, but that doesn't really work out in our best favour. Because we can tank so many hits, I'm not really too bothered about the accuracy drop because we will get more and more turns to actually deal some damage out. But when it comes to the Pidgeotto, who can use Gust and get 2 points of damage on us instead of 1, yeah. It actually made more sense to go and get rid of all of our PP on our moves and go through this with the Struggle strats. We can deal out more damage with Struggle, and from here, all we need to do is hit. We've got at least about 10 hits we can tank with Gust being hitting on us. And it's starting to do 3 damage now on some hits when he gets high rolls, but we do manage to beat him at level 16 with just using Struggle. Didn't even seem possible with any of the other moves we had, but yeah, we definitely want to teach Mud Slap as quick as possible. Now we've got Mud Slap, we can get rid of Withdraw because our defenses are just so high, there's really no point to increase it anymore. We go pick up the egg in Violet City's Pokemon Center from the assistant, and then we can progress on to the next town. But with the next town ongoing, of course, we have a few trainers, mandatory trainers we need to deal with, and this is the whole reason why I wanted Mud Slap, so we can actually deal decent damage out against the likes of these Geodudes. Big thing though, Mud Slap in our base 10 attack doesn't do too much damage whatsoever, so we are still relying on Wrap, where it does chip damage every single turn alongside of actually hitting with Wrap. So yeah, we want to make sure we can use Wrap as much as possible because it's still going to be a key move for us moving forward into Azalea Town. These Geodudes though, they're annoying. We only have limited uses of Mud Slap, we're limited to 10. So we really want to make sure we can actually deal out other damage as well as using Mud Slap so they don't even hit us. But 3 Geodudes in a row, our HP does start getting low. We've ran out of Mud Slaps now, so we have to rely on Wrap and Constrict. And yeah, it's just every fight is going to be like this until we get these new moves, because it just takes ages to get through a single fight. This Pokemon is 11 levels lower than us, and it takes us ages. Even the Rockets in Slowpoke, well, are still quite annoying. Mud Slap's barely doing anything. We managed to get 2 off before we run out of PP, and then we switch to using Wrap. Worst thing that can happen to us here, we don't want to be poisoned, because that'll take off our HP a lot quicker, and of course we get poisoned. We just need to make sure we can take this guy out before the poison really takes hold. Constrictor's just doing barely anything, but we still managed to get the win with 8 HP left. Even though we've only got 20 base HP, it's still really annoying. So I'm going to try against the rival first before we go to Bugsy, because Bugsy is still going to be annoying because he does have an accumulation move in Fury Cutter. Now, that's just going to be obnoxiously annoying, because if he hits us with 5 Fury Cutters, he is going to take us out. So we really need to make sure that we can get through this and take down Overgoat as much as we can. Overgoat though does beat us on the first time round, so we have to go up to level 28 before we have a comfortable time against this fight. Level 28, ridiculously high level. But at level 28 we also get the move Bide, which is perfect because we can tank a lot of damage and take out the Croconaw. Zubat is out next and it will only do 1 point of damage per bite. But yeah, even at this, we are not dealing enough damage out and we still take a loss at level 28. But having Bide on our moveset definitely will help us against Bugsy. So we'll go back to the rival in a minute and let's see if we can beat Bugsy. So literally the reason why I wanted to get to 28 was because we do get the move Bide. We want to get through his first 2 Pokemon without taking very little damage whatsoever, so this is why we use Mud Slap. I can't use all of the Mud Slaps on each Pokemon though, because we want to make sure that his Kakuna will not poison us, so that is the reason why we need the accuracy lowering move. Once we've done that though, we've used 5 Mud Slaps on Metapod, we use Wrap to take it down a lot quicker, taking only 5 points of damage in the process. Brings us on to Cypher though first, so we're going to go straight for Bide. And with Fury Cutter accumulating, yeah, What we kind of need is about a 3 or 4 turn Fury Cutter to tank that, and from there we can actually then use Bide and take it out in one. Because if he uses another move beforehand, like Quick Attack, it's not going to do much damage. We want him to use Fury Cutter, which is very counterintuitive in some ways, but we have got the defense to actually tank enough hits to make it work. So then we can allow Bide to accumulate and deal out more damage back to him. This time around, we're down by 7 points of health, and this time he goes into Kakuna. We use Safeguard to make sure we don't get poisoned, and then use Mud Slap to get his accuracy down. Once Safeguard fails, we'll then put it back up, and then we'll use Wrap to start taking down its HP. We're at 51 HP here, 50 HP going into the later stages of the Kakuna battle. And our accuracy with Wrap is not the greatest. We need to take it down, and now comes the Cypher. Can we do it this time? We have to use Wrap just to do a little bit of chip damage, then we go straight into Bide. By making sure he uses Fury Cutter once, we can unleash energy, take him down in one. And there we go. That is how you beat Bugsy with a Shuckle before level 30. My god, that was a long drawn out fight. But now we need to try against Overgoat again and see if what we've learned in that fight and the levels that we've accumulated can actually get us the win here. Let's see how we do. First off is the Ghastly, of course, and thank god this time he used Spite and he used Hypnosis, which missed. We're on full HP going at Croconaw. From here we can then start storing energy and dealing out a bit of damage. Water Gun is the move we actually want him to use, because then we can deal out more damage back with Bide. But it gets into a bit of back and forth where I'm using Mud Slap, he's using Water Gun and missing quite a bit. Finally going into Wrap where we can take him down. We've got 24 HP to work with. This is more than any other attempt going against Overgoat here. And that means we've got more than enough HP to work with, tanking the bites from the Zubat to take it down with Wrap. But it's very worrying that we had to be level 31 to make this possible. Like, there's so many Wrap, so many flinches that happen when they're using Bite. But we managed to take him down and pick up Headbutt in Ilex Forest. Let's see how we do against Whitney anyway. So Whitney's got 2 Pokemon. First off, it's the Clefairy, and the most annoying thing is this Clefairy can use other moves because of Metronome. Ideally what we want to do is just take it down as quick as possible and then use the same strategy as we did against Bugsy. We unleashed energy, nearly taken out in one, then it uses Milk Drink, which probably means we've lost this attempt, because we've ran out of Headbutt, we've ran out of Mud Slap, so yeah, we need to try this again. As much as this is an absolute defensive tank, Shuckle, it can be a great solo run Pokemon, but it just takes ages to get through. Like, just getting to the 3rd gym in itself took me longer than the rest of the game, because the next move that we're going to get, which of course is going to be Rollout, I decided to see if I can beat her without using Rollout. Yeah, we managed to do it with Bide. But those accumulation moves really don't help us out. So we progress on with 3 gym badges, and we have picked up the TM for Attract, which, I mean, how can you not be charmed by that little cutie? He is adorable. We've picked up Rollout, and we are going to go against the 4th gym, which of course is Morty the Ghost Trainer, without a Mischievous. Well done, Game Freak. With Rollout on our moveset and being able to tank quite a lot, the worst thing that can happen to us here is we get Cursed, which happens, of course, straight away. We're on a 3rd turn Rollout going into the Haunter, and then we get put to sleep, so this one is a pretty much done deal. We have lost. If we can get through this, which I decided to try it out, Curse is not blocked like by Safeguard. It'll still hit through Safeguard, which is really annoying. But when you get the good luck and they don't put you to sleep, Rollout will sweep through his entire team, which makes it quite an easy fight. But we are massively over leveled for this point in the game, level 38. Can't remember the last Pokemon I was this high level to beat just to beat Morty. Probably Tyrogue. That Pokemon was awful. We're going to go off to, let's go to the Burnt Tower and beat Overgoat again. He's got an upgraded team, he's got more happening here, so we'll see how we do against the likes of his Magnemite. First off, he sets out his Haunter, and we go for Safeguard, which at this point I didn't realise that it hadn't worked. But we've managed to set up Rollout, going into the 3rd turn Rollout. We're on 2 HP going into his last 2 Pokemon. Magnemite can't outspeed us, which is quite funny, but then Zubat still manages to take us out with a Bite. Let's try that again. Let's just go straight for Safeguard, meaning we won't get paralyzed, won't get put to sleep. and we can set up our rollouts as and when we needed. Thankfully this time we didn't go for Curse, and we can sweep through the entire team with rollout. Until we get to the Zubat, which confuses us. And this just draws out the fight even more. This Zubat is very, very annoying. But we managed to beat him quite comfortably. Brings us over to Olivine City, where we need to start the side quest for the Ampharos medicine. And leaving the lighthouse, we can progress over to Cianwood City. Cianwood City also poses a new threat, and that is the fighting type, which is neutrally hitting to us, but it's still a problem. Chuck, of course, has 2 Cantonian Pokemon, even though he's a Johto leader. But we're just going to go straight for the rollouts because we want to accumulate that as much as we can before we get to the Poliwrath, who has Surf. Surf is super effective against us, so we definitely want to have as much HP to work with going into that Pokemon. Of course, he could also use Dynamic Punch, and if that hits, big damage, and also he manages to... yeah... he's going to go Surf because it's super effective. That's what the AI is telling him. Okay, let's try this again. We are level 42 going into this, so we're very, very high leveled. But Rollout is still going to be our premier move. I might get rid of it towards the end of the game, but for now, Rollout is just all we need to really take down and deal out big damage. This is the whole point of having Rollout for a Pokemon like this. I mean, we could have increased our defense if we taught Defense Curl, but you know what? A level for whatever 37, we also get the move for Rest, which is perfect because this gives us a lot more longevity in fights. And it also means that we can stall out their PP on moves. Yes, PP stalling is a key strategy in a Shuckle solo run, because we can tank loads of hits, get rid of their good moves, and just keep resting up back to full health. It's a cheesy Pokemon, this one. We also get hit by Dynamic Punch, which is really annoying. We use Headbutt to try and do a little more chip damage. He's going to use Mind Reader to actually make sure he hits us, but at this point we might actually get all the way to him using Struggle. We get a Headbutt that deals out enough damage, and we get the 5th badge. Who'd have thought that PP stalling actually is a legitimate strategy with this Pokemon for a solo run? It's crazy. Anyway, with the 5th badge in tow, I'm going to go and see how we do against the next gym leader. Now, I did opt not going for Jasmine right away. With 3 Pokemon on our moveset, one of them being Steelix, who's got ridiculous defenses, I think we'd need a few more levels, or at least a little bit more to work with before we actually go against it. So instead, we're going to opt to go to the Lake of Rage. And this poses another problem with this Red Gyarados. If we get hit by a Water-type move, which probably will happen, unless he uses Thrash, we would lose that quite very, very, very easily. But he went for Thrash, which means we did pretty well there. This is where we bump into Lance, and he's honestly astounded by our Shuckle's might that he Hyper Beamed some guy into a wall. Shuckle does this to people. Just do what Shuckle does. Now, I also really tempted to try the Dorkly's Shuckle laugh, but I am not great with voices, in all honesty, so unfortunately you will not be hearing the Shuckle impression here. But I love Shucky from that. Anyway, we absolutely sweep through the Rocket Hideout, take down all of the Electrodes, and you know what? Shuckle's out for blood. He wants the next gym badge, so once we've defeated all of the Electrodes, we'll head on to Price's gym. And you know what? We've actually got a type advantage with our Bug Rock type, well, the Rock type of it, against the Ice types. Rollout should be more than enough for all we need. Let's see how we do. Price starts out with one of the channel's fan favourites with Seal and Dugong, because everyone loved the Dewey video. My god, how did Dugong become an SS tier Pokemon? Oh my word, we got frozen. That's alright, in this generation though, you can naturally thaw out, which is great. So all we need to do, wait it out, defrost ourselves and rest up to then use Safeguard, meaning we do not then get frozen again. Once we've set all that up though, we can roll out our way to victory. Even if we use the Hyper Potion, a 5th turn rollout will take it down. That brings us into the Dugong, and again, Dugong, love this Pokemon now. I used to hate it, but my god, doing that Dugong solo run really changed my mind about it. I really like it now. We beat Price first time and then progress back to Jasmine because it's the last gym leader we need to do before the last parts of the Rocket side quest. So let's fly all the way over to Olivine City and see how we do against the Steel type trainer. Big thing about this fight, I want to get Safeguard up immediately. But that also poses another problem. These Magnemites know Sonic Boom, and that in itself creates a big problem. This ignores our defenses, because what they're going to do is deal consistent damage every single turn. So we had to go and find a new move, and Dig in the National Park was the perfect move to go and get. Because it's super effective against steel types. Also, it doesn't... it just means we can take out those Magnemites in one. We do still lose the Steelix level 51, so we need to figure out something different. We don't want to get hit by Iron Tail too many times because it lowers defenses. So what we need to do is also kind of stall it out a bit. Once we've used Safeguards to make sure we don't get any other status effects, we can dig and chip away at it. And then once we've run out of dig PP, we can then hopefully use Rollout to get ourselves the win. But we need to make sure that we can burn that Hyper Potion and keep our HP up. Every single time that he uses Iron Tail, he is going to try and lower our defenses. So what we need to do is use Dig and miss as many as possible. Then keep our HP up and stall out his PP for Iron Tail, which has got about 15 PP from off the top of my head. That means he'll then switch to Rock Throw, which won't do as much damage, but then he'll also try and switch to using Screech. So he's doing everything he can to try and lower our defenses, and we're doing everything we can to outpace his PP usage. We're going to use Safeguard as well, just to waste a bit more time, but he keeps using Screech to try and get our defenses down. Rock Throw is starting to do more and more damage thanks to this, and yeah, we need to start resting back up. At some point though, we can't lower our defense anymore, so what we need to do is start with the rollouts and accumulating damage. It's a long drawn out fight, but it's possible to do it this way around. We miss a rollout, meaning we had to start again, and finally we're into the final Magnemite. He goes for Thunder Wave and then Sonic. Super Sonic, man. We want to keep our HP high. We need to use rollout because we've used all of our dig PP, and as long as we can get Safeguard up, we'll be fine from the Thunder Waves and the Super Sonics, meaning he will only use Super Sonic Boom from there. Annoyingly though, we do get hit in Confusion a few times, and it looks like we're about to lose here, but thankfully Rest comes in clutch again, and we're running out of PP by this point. This is such a long drawn out fight, but we finally get the rollouts in to take the win. That was a very long fight. That was probably the longest Jasmine fight I've done on this channel. That brings us over to the Rocket side quest, and of course another fight with Overgoat. Let's see how we do here against his probably one of the better teams that he's got in this. It's probably one of the harder fights in this entire game for the rival fights. Starting off, he's got the Golbat, which will try and confuse us, which is very annoying. But we need to get the rollouts as quick as possible because we've got no other moves that can hit a flying type apart from rollout. That brings us into Feraligatr, and with the fifth turn rollout, I think it was the fourth turn there, we can then go into the Magnemite and use Dig. Thankfully, we do outspeed the Magnemites, but that's only because we are much higher level than it. We use Dig to evade using Curse on the Haunter, bringing us into Sneezing. Now here, I can either go for Dig or I can go for Rollout. With 50 HP left, we can then beat Overgoat here. That's a first time win. Doesn't happen all too often. That brings us to the top of the Radio Tower, and of course, with that is a fight with, I think it's Archer, isn't it, this one? We get burnt on the very first turn. Great. That brings us into the Houndoom, and fire types will do big damage against us. But we've managed to beat him first time with 5th turn rollout, bringing us to the end of the Rocket side quest, which always makes me happy because I don't like this side quest. That brings us over to the 8th gym, and of course a new challenge with it, because Claire of course has 4 dragons. A lot of them all have Surf as well, but here becomes an even bigger problem. We struggle against the very first trainer in a gym because of one move, and that move is Dragon Rage. So I level up just one more time, so hopefully give us enough to actually take it out, but you know what? We need to every hit of rollout to hit, because Dragon Rage will do a set 40 damage every single turn, and we don't have much HP to work with. Let's see how we do against Claire anyway, because this will be interesting. So Claire starts off with her Dragonite, and we're going to straight away set up a Safeguard, meaning we won't get hit by Thunder Wave. Bring us into the Kingdra, where they're going to try and use Surf against us, burn the Hyper Potion, And then the 5th turn rollout, will it... Oh no, it's not 5th turn, that was the 4th. We can use Safeguard again, making sure that they can just burn some PP. I mean, look, this is where its defenses are really starting to come into play. Like, these are powerful Pokemon. Dragon Breath's a decent move, and yet they're barely doing anything to us. We beat Claire first time, nearly at level 60 before even getting to the league. So yeah, this is interesting. In Victory Road, we have again our final fight against Overgoat. Let's see how we do here. This time he's going to start off with his Sneasel, which is alright for us because he doesn't have any super effective moves for us. But he does have Screech, which isn't the best thing. We've got 2-turn rollouts set up, and it's going to be a 4-turn rollout to take out the Feraligatr. We have also picked up the TM for Earthquake, which is a much better move than Dig in this generation because 100 base power, 1-turn usage, you don't have to wait 2 turns to use it. Yeah, definitely a much better move. We're halfway through his team, and the big problem here is Curse on Haunter. We need to rest up and get our HP back, but we're going to lose a quarter of our HP every single turn thanks to Curse now. As long as we can get 1 Earthquake set up, we should be able to beat this Haunter, but this brings us into the Golbat. We need to rest up, but he gets a critical hit taking down the rest of our HP. If that had not been a critical, we would have been able to get our HP back up and actually make it through the rest of the fight. So we need to try that again. Rollout's the best thing for Sneasel because it's super effective with it being an Ice type. Feraligatr is out next, and 3rd turn rollout, 4th turn rollout misses, meaning we get started up again. We want to make sure we can take all of his Pokemon out as quick as possible. Magneton next goes down to a 4th turn rollout, and then Haunter comes in, and yeah, we need to... Earthquake works that time, we don't get Cursed, that is perfect. Next up is Golbat, and the worst thing that can happen is we get confused. That doesn't happen, we get brought into the Kadabra with the final rollout giving us a win. That was a tough fight. That was a tough fight. But that brings us to the league, and of course the newest challenges. Let's see how we do against Will. In hindsight, Will's team here is not a problem for this Pokemon. Safeguard makes sure we don't get hit by his status inflicting moves, and Rollout is pretty effective against the majority of his team. Psychic does have the chance to reduce our special defense, but we managed to get through quite comfortably. We can rest back up to get our HP back up to full as soon as we can. And this is where Shuckle started to shine a lot with this run. It is a great Pokemon for the league. Just with the combination of Safeguard, Rest, Rollouts, Earthquake, it's a great moveset to be using for this Pokemon. Even if we get down to low HP, we can tank at least one more hit and then get ourselves back up to full with Rest. Slowbro is out last, and we actually outspeed it, meaning we get the win. First time win against Will. Let's see how we do against Koga. Now, of course, Koga is annoying. We need to straight away set up Safeguard, but that also gives him the opportunity to either baton pass or set up double teams. And he's cheating because I can't use double team. We were also happy to see an explosion from the Fortress because it does barely any damage to us. We need to use Earthquake against the Muck because it's super effective. And then we're also making sure we don't get poisoned because that'll deal out a lot of damage from Toxic. Ariados keeps baton passing out, but it gives us a chance to start setting up Rollout on the Venomoth. Annoyingly, we do get confused because Safeguard failed, and then we just get one shot on the Crobat, bringing us back into the Ariados, which, even though it's his first Pokemon, seems to have lasted till the last. We managed to get a win. 2 Elite Four members, 2 first-time wins. Let's see how we do against Bruno. Now, Bruno does pose a big problem. His Onyxes have got Earthquake. That's a bad scenario for us. We do have Earthquake ourselves, which deals with the Hitmontop, but Rock Slide is super effective against us. We need to take them out as quick as possible. Machamp is out next, and of course he's got Cross Chop, which is a powerful move. Rollout is the wrong move to be using here, even though I did use it. It takes 5 turns of Rollout just to take down that Machamp. Double Kick nearly KOs us, and we decide to use Safeguard just to get rid of all of his powerful moves, PP. I'm going to use Earthquake to deal out a little bit of chip damage to him, and then we've only got 1 Earthquake left to deal with the final Hitmonchan. Mach Punch is not going to do very much to us, and from here, the fight is pretty much ours. Well, as soon as we've set up Rollout, we can just wait until the accumulation takes him down. 3 Elite Four members, 3 first time wins. Let's see how we do against Karen. Now Karen is a mixed bag. Umbreon is very defensively tanky. We want to set up the safeguards to make sure we don't get likes of paralysis put to sleep, and then set up rollouts so that we can get through the next Pokemon coming out. Because of safeguard, we managed to miss the stun spore, bringing us into the Gengar where we can use Earthquake to get a win. We have been cursed though, which is bad, but we can start setting up rollout again. But we are ooh, that helps us out a lot. Because they used Roar on us, Curse is no longer active. And because I'm trying to do this as a solo run, I have to switch back into Shuckle straight away. That worked out perfectly. She really... Even Whirlwind again, why does she want me to switch Pokemon? We used Rest to get back up to full HP, but Karen has completely sealed her fate there. It's very... Sorry if you are called Karen, but you've just screwed yourself over there. That brings us to the final challenge of the Elite Four, and of course that is the Champion Lance. Now you'd think with a move like Rollout, this would be a very easy fight. Not really. Gyarados has got Surf, which deals out good damage, and we're on 27 HP and we've got Rollout set up. And then Aerodactyl also knows Rock Slide, which is super effective to us, bringing us into the Dragonite. We managed to take down 3 of the Pokemon, getting into the final Dragonite, but Thunder takes us out because we were on too little HP. So we need to plan this better. Let's see how we do the second time round. And I'm really annoyed that Shuckle did not get a full Elite Four sweep there. Really annoyed at that. This time round, things go a bit more in our favour. We do get flinched by the Aerodactyl, but this is actually good, because from here we can rest back up to full. If we stall out this Aerodactyl's Rock Slide, he's got really nothing to work with to deal anything against us. So by stalling him out on PP, we're in a much better position than we were the previous attempt. Yes, PP stalling this far into the game is still a legitimate strategy. And now he's got rid of all of his Rock Slide, he's only using Wing Attack, which is neutral damage to us, giving us a better chance to start using Rollout and accumulate up some damage for the next Pokemon coming out. But we didn't set up Safeguard, which means we are paralysed. Doesn't matter though, we can rest back up, get rid of that paralysis, and then start Rollout all over again. Everything in this fight is in Shuckle's favour. There is nothing they can do really that can properly stand up to us. The worst Pokemon we've already beaten in Gyarados. Charizard comes out next, and Flamethrower, even though it's neutral to us, does quite good damage. We've got 2 Pokemon left, and the 5th turn Rollout manages to take down his second Dragonite. Thunder does decent damage, but we managed to get a last minute rest in to get ourselves back up to full HP. This fight is ours as soon as Rollout starts hitting. Worst of course, we don't want to be paralysed, but we managed to get Rollout to work, and Shuckle on its own becomes the Pokemon champion. This is a fun Pokemon to use. I like it. This is a really fun Pokemon to use. Shuckle becomes the champion at level 68, just 1 off level 69, at 9 hours and 9 minutes. Kind of expected that with how long some of the fights taken. So yeah, not a fast Pokemon, but it gets the job done. And at a decently low level as well, 68. Not bad. That brings us to the post game though. With the post game, we do have other things we need to think about. The first being the fact that it's going to take us a while to get around Kanto because we are a slow Pokemon. The other thing is the major battle with Blue. He's got a varied team, something unlike we haven't seen since the rival, so we'll have to see how we do here. So the former champion Blue starts off with his Pidgeot, and he decides to use Whirlwind. He's gone for the Karen strats. So what I actually opted to do here, because this Pidgeot will outspeed all of our Pokemon, I'm going to let it use Whirlwind and KO all of our Pokemon in the team. Because the only Pokemon that's actually going to do any damage, of course, is going to be Shuckle. And if I just use moves that won't even hit them, we're going to get through from there. So once it's KO'd all of our team, even the little Togepi there, poor little baby, now Whirlwind will do nothing. We're on a 3rd turn rollout going into Rhydon, and Rhydon poses a big problem. It knows Rock Slide. Earthquake does not do much, and yeah, we're going to take a loss here. Let's try that again. So yeah, we are going to let our Pokemon all get taken out first. I'm not actually using them to attack, so technically I don't feel like this breaches my moveset because they are not going to do anything to this Pidgeot. It will outspeed and it will take them out in one. So, with all Pokemon taken out, Whirlwind will not do anything now. We set up Safeguard, we set up Rollout, and I'm kind of hoping that we manage to get a 4th turn and 5th turn Rollout on Rhydon to deal big damage out, but its defenses are pretty damn good. We managed to rest back up, and from here we again start the stalling tactics. We want to get rid of everything to do with Rock Slide, because it is just a powerful move against us. Bug is weak to Rock, and strangely enough, Rock is kind of neutral, so it is super effective against us. It's only got about 15 PP to work with though, so that means that we can pretty much stall it out quite quickly. And just use Safeguard. The reason why I've kept Safeguard this long is because it does have a high PP limit. With 25 uses, it means that with the combination of Rest, we can also outpace them on the PP consumption. From here, when Rock Slide finally gets fully used up, it just takes quite a while because he likes to alternate between Fury Attack and Rock Slide. When I'm confident though that he has used up all of his Rock Slide PP and he's only using Fury Attack, eventually he will start using Sandstorm, which is not the worst thing for us because it actually won't hit us and it will increase our special defenses. Then he starts using Earthquake. But from here it's not doing anywhere near as much damage, so we can use Rollout and Earthquake to deal out chip damage just to try and get it down, but we want to be setting up Rollout for the next Pokemon incoming. We could also try and... we're going to stall out Earthquake as well, because when he's only got Sandstorm left, it's nothing really that he can do against us. This is the power of a Shuckle. Outlasting the opponent and making it... this fight is just completely ours. But it's just annoying because it does take ages, but this is interesting. I'm used to trying to finish fights as quick as possible. We've got a 2 3-turn Rollout set up going into the Gyarados. Rollout is a one-shot hit on it, and then we managed to get seeded by the Executor, but that brings us into the Alakazam, where we can start using Earthquake to start dealing chip damage out. It's going to take out 4 or 5 hits with the Leech Seed damage also annoying us. But once we've taken out this Alakazam, there's only one Pokemon left, and that is Arcanine. As long as we can rest back up to full, we can probably stall out a little bit more on his Flamethrowers because they do decent damage on us. And then we'll start using Rollout to take him down, because Rock is super effective against fire, if you didn't know that by now. Once we can actually start setting up Rollout though, it's only a matter of time before we win. And there we go. We've beaten Blue. Very long-winded fight, but Shuckle is just a demon. Look at his cute little face, and yet this guy is strangely one of the funniest Pokemon I've ever used in my life. Like, I don't think I ever used Shuckle growing up doing Pokemon Go playthroughs, even in teens, but my god, you know, I should have been using it. It's fun. It's fun. It is fun. This brings us to a penultimate battle with Red. Let's see how we do here, because this is going to be a difficult one, and I am not sure how well we would do. Red, the Pokemon Master, of course, starts out with his signature Pikachu. Now, we are going to go for the Curse strats here. So, the plan is, we will Curse, we will Rest, and when we've got full attack set up, we can either use Earthquake or we can use Rollout to deal out massive damage and sweep through his entire team. The biggest threat on his entire team is going to be his Blastoise, because it knows Rain Dance and Surf. And that scares me because we are weak to that. So what we need to do is get our Curses up as quick as we can, keep them as high as possible. We need +6 to make this work, and we need to keep our HP up. In the meantime though, we will PP stall the Pikachu, and once we've finally woken up with full attack, we will go into the Blastoise. From here, Earthquake doesn't even do a third, and Surf does that much. This is a loss for us, but I still think it's possible if we switch up what we do. So Pikachu, again, we'll start off setting up the Curses. It's a little long-winded to set this up right at the start of the fight, but with Pikachu missing all of its Thunders and trying to Charm us, it does take a while, because Charm lowers your attack by 2 stages. Thunder will do probably about 40 damage on us because it is decently powerful. But we want to outpace and get rid of all of its PP on both Thunder and Thunderbolt, meaning that all it will do is use Charm and Quick Attack on us. Why in level 81 Pikachu's got Quick Attack is beyond me, but we're 110 HP, we go into the Blastoise. From here, man, this is not going to work in our favour. This time round, we managed to get through. And then Snorlax here, it's not going to be a problem. Body Slam will not do much to us. Snore will not do much to us. Once we've set up all we need to, it's just going to be a case of rolling out and out a way to a victory. He does manage to use Rest and get his HP back up to full, but Snore is doing so little damage, there's not really much you can do. The worst thing about Snore though is it can flinch, which I completely forgot about if I'm being honest. We are paralysed going into the Venusaur, but we've got a lot of turns of rollouts set up, bringing us into the Espeon, which we miss. So we rest up and we get our HP back. We get rid of the pesky paralysis, and from there we can then start Earthquaking just to deal out decent damage. That just leaves his Charizard left, and we are going to go straight for Rest to make sure he doesn't do very much against us. We can outpace him with Rest and getting his Flamethrower PP down, but if we get hit by a critical hit, that probably spends the end for us. And Charizard does get quite a few critical hits, but not with Flamethrower in this instance. We're running out of uses for Rest, so we need to make sure we get rid of all of his Flamethrower, which I'm pretty sure has only got 15 PP, and from there, the fight will be ours. He's nearly ran out, and we've really ran out of Rest, so this is getting very close, but then he starts to use Fire Spin, which is perfect because in this generation you can still hit the Pokemon if they use Fire Spin on you. Rollout does ridiculous damage on him, and we beat Red. After so long, we finally beat Pokemon Gold with just a Shuckle. If you've got a lot of time on your hands, I recommend this Pokemon because it is fun. We did it at level 75, which is much lower than I thought it would actually be. But look at that defense, 400 points in defense, 398 in special defense. That's ridiculous. And we did that 11 hours and 29 minutes. If you've got a lot of time on your hands, recommend this run. But let's see what we're going to do the next run with. I'm hoping for something a lot easier, if I'm being honest, or something that doesn't take as much time because we've done a lot of runs recently that have taken ages. First up, of course, is Mareep, as you can see there. I really enjoyed the Fluffy run, if I'm being honest, but it doesn't get the element of punches. Second up is Houndour, and that is a great choice because I've not done this Pokemon yet, and I love this Pokemon. Third up, though, is Bayleaf. Nah, we're going to go with Houndour. It's a good doggo, and we will see how we do. Dark Fire type, that sounds amazing. If you have got to this point in the video, please like and subscribe, you legends, and we will see you next week for the Houndour run. Take care.